Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of the Indigo Womb Wisdom Podcast. I'm your host and sister friend, Shatia Tee Owsley, and thank you for watching and or listening. So sit back, grab some tea and a notebook, and let's vibe together as we have organic and practical conversations embracing intuitive womb wisdom, spirituality, and a sprinkle of magic to rebel, restore, and radiate overall wellness in our lives. Hi, all, and welcome back to another Indigo Womb Wisdom podcast episode. Today, I would like to introduce our guest, Dr. Betel Aklilu, better known as Dr. A. Dr. A is the creator of Kelayi Chiropractic and Wellness Boutique. She is a board-certified chiropractor specializing in pelvis and lower back. She combines a number of healing modalities and techniques to provide individualized care to each client she serves. She focuses on the holistic well-being during pregnancy, postpartum, and the pediatric chiropractic care period. Dr. A states her goal is simply to spread the power of well-rounded care to perinatal women and kids. I'm so excited to have you here today.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I read a little bit about your bio, but I know you do so much. But I would like for you to introduce yourself, share a little bit about your journey, how you got started, and what led you to birth work and women's wellness.
Okay. Well, let me see. You summarized it really beautifully. I'll say that, so thank you. How did we get here? I started pre-med. I like to emphasize that. So I started pre-med. So I've always had an inclination and a desire for helping others and learning medicine, learning the body, understanding the body, and how does it work, and what do we do, right? In those moments where we need help, right? So I started there. In that journey, through figuring out what that means, especially as it relates to a career, I worked in the medical world. I worked in the emergency room. I worked in nonprofit sector, and I really had an appreciation for, even more of an appreciation for our bodies, but an understanding that a lot of medicine did not necessarily involve wellness, right? And I thought that was really interesting, because when you're pre-med, you learn more of pathology, and is kind of broken into physiology, how does it work, and pathology, what do you do about it, right? So as most medical doctors, you kind of end with pathology. What do you do when it's wrong? And I found that where I shined, where I wanted to focus my energy, was really in how does it work and how can we keep it working well. So I found myself, going to chiropractic school, and it really combined for me health, wellness, medicine, the body, hands-on work. It's just everything that I could have imagined, and I wish I knew about it sooner. So once you're a chiropractor, though, you're adjusting everyone, right? You're learning how to adjust the body. You're learning how to listen when the body is talking to you, and what someone needs, and what to adjust and what not to adjust. And in that time, I remember even through school thinking, chiropractic is so much about just restoring wellness and restoring the body to optimal function. And I remember thinking, this is what babies need, right? And this is what moms need. And so after school, in practice, I kept seeing that. And I kept seeing myself gravitating to the mommies in the room or the babies in the room. And then there was this huge push to, okay, you really want to focus in there. So I did. I focused in there, and then came from that came the birth of Kelayi, right? Where we said, okay, we're going to focus really and creating an environment where moms and babies really feel welcomed, and we teach everybody about the holistic piece of chiropractic, not just like come because you're in pain, right? But it's a journey, right? So it's a lot of fun
Yeah.
from fertility on and then beyond, right? Because I also
Mhm.
see the dads that come in the room and they're like, "Can you help me too?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure," you know?
Yes.
So it becomes fun and family oriented, but it's just going back to the root of things that I really love,
Yeah.
of just this is when you take care of a family, when you take care of a mommy, and you take care of her baby, you really change the trajectory of their life, and how they're able to live it, and it feels good. So
Yes, I
maybe that's
love
why I got
that.
here. Yeah.
I love it. So, for someone who is either one thinking about chiropractic services,
Hmm.
um, and let's just start at the base. Let's even start before someone becomes pregnant, right? And it was something that you discussed and that you talked about, and you mentioned restoring the body back to wellness,
Hmm.
right? That the balance, homeostasis,
Hmm.
just coming back, adjusting the nervous system,
Yeah.
right? And so, but there are so many misconceptions about chiropractic care,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And so, how do you approach that for someone who is actually curious, who wants to know more, but has heard a lot of chatter about chiropractic care?
Right.
How do you help them to understand, one, what chiropractic care is, and then two, how it is a benefit for their overall wellness?
Right. So let's start back to what chiropractic care is. You know, really chiro meaning hands, so it's just hands-on care.
Hmm.
That's basically where that's what we do. That's what it is. And then what we do is we use our hands to then realign and help restore alignment in the body. So
Hmm.
your pelvis, because of trauma, whether it's thoughts that you may have had, whether it may be from things that you may have consumed, whether you were eating it or you were exposed to it in your environment, your body responds and your body manifests what you put into it.
Hmm.
So there's that. And then there's also, of course, just the trauma of like falls and things like that. So your body goes through things. And then it's our job to take a look and say, okay, this could be a little bit better here. Let's move this here. Is this bending well? Is this moving well? That doesn't feel so good at this spot. And those things are what we make corrections for. So we
Hmm.
are correcting subluxations. That's what a chiropractor does. We find areas that are misaligned and we align them, right?
Yeah.
So as simple as that sounds, right? When you make those corrections, you're also changing and impacting the neurology of the nerves that are going from that space to any other part of your body, right? So
Hmm.
there are some areas that I can correct that I know are going to have an impact on how you're digesting. Right? Or some areas where I know, okay, if I move this a little bit better, that's really going to help how you sit, and that's going to help how your pelvis moves, and that's going to help how baby then comes out, right? So all of these different things, when we say how does it impact your nervous system? Well, you work as a computer. We are computers, right?
Hmm.
You've got a brain, that's that central nervous system and spinal cord, and then you've got all these nerves that come out of that space that supply all the things. Your lungs supplied by nerves, your heart supplied by nerves, right? Your organs supplied by nerves, your uterus powered by nerves. All of these things. So if you don't go back to the source and correct the misalignments that may be there, you don't know how things are firing, right?
Hmm.
You don't know how things are working. And over time, they don't work as well if they've been misaligned for a while. And it's very, I always go back to the car analogy where it's like, well, everyone has to go get their tires realigned because you've used them, period. They've been on the road, they've been rolling, you know what I mean? And they should get aligned at some point, right? So if we do that to the tires of our car, you would have assumed or at least imagine it would be um, kind of easy to put into context why your body would need a realignment.
Hmm.
Now, how it's adjusted, when it's adjusted, who it's adjusted by, how often, all of that changes, right? But chiropractic is just that. What I think has happened is because it's wellness and because it's so simple, right? No shade to any of the chiropractors, but it is, right? Because it is that, um, that can be really difficult sometimes for people that have really understood the medical community or pathology to grapple with, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
to really understand why. Because I always I'm perplexed by people who, I mean, think of it to be more than that, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what it's so simple, and it's, for the most part, I mean, we have one of the lowest malpractice rates in the medical community, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that is because it is very safe. Very, 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 very safe, right? It does not require you to take something that's foreign to your body. It does not require you to do something that is foreign to your body, right? And you immediately feel a difference, right? You're going to like it or dislike it. You're going to feel something, right? Whereas something else may take some time to work into your body, build up in your system, those kind of things. You may not know where this came from. This is not that. So the misconceptions, I think, once people like sit down and really think about it, they're really not there, right? So,
Well, I love that explanation. I do, because prior to me even going to a chiropractor, I had heard so many stories, and they weren't always the most positive
yeah.
stories, right? And I think another point that you made is who is doing the work, how often you are getting it done, where you're getting it done, and then, most importantly, the relationship that you have with your chiropractor and what that
Mhm.
looks like. I think the foundation of understanding that chiropractic care is for your full body wellness, meaning mind, body, and spirit. It
Yeah,
is not just a quick fix. It is not just a pill that you take,
mhm.
right? This is something that, as you mentioned, not only helps you physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. It loosens and works through. And if people don't know, they are, I think many people are starting to learn that we hold a lot of trauma, a lot of our experiences in our body, right? And so chiropractic care comes in to help ease and help us to release that so we can live an optimal life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're restoring it back to like your factory settings
Yeah.
almost.
Yes. Reset me, start me over.
Reset. It's a reset. That's how I look at it. I get adjusted every week. For me, it's I use my body, and so
Hmm.
I know um, what I'm doing to it. Right? I'm not. I am very aware of how much I do with my body, and so my adjustment. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So let's move into birth work. Let's move into chiropractic care for fertility,
Hmm.
preconception, that period, pregnancy, postpartum. I am overdue. So I'm gonna just put this plug in there. I'm overdue, Dr. A, to come in because I have a baby on the hip on a regular. So I know I'm a little off. However, I did receive chiropractic care during my most recent pregnancy, and it was a game changer for me.
Okay.
And it was extremely helpful because I gained a lot of weight. I felt very heavy, and I had a big old belly because
Hmm.
I had a little Whopper with cheese baby. He was a little chunky baby. So it was a lot of weight to carry. So going in to get adjusted during my pregnancy, I learned a lot about the benefits of chiropractic care. And then I also took my baby after he was born to get adjusted as well. And you mentioned, I know that if I do this thing here or if I adjust here, it's going to help your digestive system. Well, it
Hmm.
always helped his digestive system because he always had a big poop after he left the chiropractor.
Awesome. I love.
So just those are some of the benefits. But you working specifically in women's wellness and working with the pelvis and working with the female body prior to pregnancy, during pregnancy, and then after, what does that look like?
What does
And
that
you
look
can start wherever you want
like?
in that area.
You know, I really, a lot of my moms will come in somewhere between, I would say a majority of them, not all of them, but somewhere between second try and third try. Like there's that sweet spot somewhere where they're kind of transitioning, or realize they're about to transition, like, oh, right? And then there's this push to, okay, get to a chiropractor, right? But ideally, my moms who come in, hey, I just want to get my body in a good place. I want it to feel well. I want it to work well. And not even necessarily always thinking fertility, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely open to, or, you know, if they're open to fertility, those are my favorite cases.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's something there that really needs correction or really needs a lot of work, you have the time and the energy to put into it then, right? As opposed to, hey, I'm trying to have a baby, you know, da 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 da. Because now we were also dealing with the stress of that,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fertility journey and whatever that looks like. So ideal is really for like my people who are just like, oh, you know, it's time. I feel some things and I've never had this done. I've never checked it out. Let me give this a chance. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There you can really look at it with a blank slate and go, okay, yes. And you're not thinking of trying to be a mom, trying to have a baby, you know, all of those things. From the fertility standpoint, for my mommies who do come in that stage of, okay, we're trying, you know, I want to get this squared away. It's a lot of fun because for me, when I see them from beginning to all the way through, it, you know, you can just imagine what that does for me. You know, I'm like remembering all the things. I remember things they don't remember, you know? So the adjustments, I use the Webster technique, which is it's a very popular, very evidence-based approach and technique for adjusting the pregnant person. But it's the assessment of the pelvis and how we assess the pelvis in those ways that's really that makes it really unique, and helpful for the pregnant person. But it's certainly not the only type of adjusting that you can do, right? But that's where I start. So I start Webster on pretty much anyone that walks in through the door. I'm starting with Webster to really analyze what is your pelvis doing, because the pelvis to me is like the foot of the spine, right? So you've got your spine and then you've got this pelvis at the end of it, and that's, if you imagine your ankles, it's kind of that, right? But you sit on it all the time and you do all of these things and it gets wonky and it gets um, misplacements, you know. And so we start there. Once we correct there, you remember, I remind everyone, you have a back to the pelvis and you have got the front of your pelvis. So we work on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pregnant or not pregnant. But doing this in that fertility realm, it's so helpful, right? Because now once baby is here or once you've conceived, then there's a greater chance for baby to be growing and developing in this space that's well aligned, that's not torqued, and all of these things, as opposed to if we hadn't done the work, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
throughout the pregnancy journey, then we're just continuing and maintaining. Most of my moms, depending on when they came in, we get to that place where we're just kind of checking in once a week. For some moms that are doing all the other things, right? They're at yoga, they've been well adjusted, all these things, they're eating really well, and they're not under a lot of stress. I might even see them once every 2 weeks. It really changes based off of the person in front of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have some moms, I'm like, if you can't be here enough, what do I need to do? You know, what can you come back tomorrow, right? So there's always the exceptions, but that's what the journey looks like. And you just kind of meet the person there. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question.
Yeah.
Am I? Okay. So that's a lot of fun. It's never too early to start.
Okay. Okay.
That's my gist there is it's never too early to start. And then so with babies, right? There are a lot of things that a pediatric chiropractor is looking for that the pediatrician isn't,
Mm.
right? And so it does not hurt to have a second pair of eyes, right? And I know that I would do it for myself. I don't want to be my well, I can't be my own chiropractor, but I wouldn't be my child's own chiropractor if I had a child, right? I would have somebody else take a look.
Mhm.
And in that same concept, I hope that we walk into a world more where pediatricians are going, yeah, why not see the pediatric chiropractor? Let them check some of these things out too,
Mhm.
Right now, that's not the world we live in for the most part.
Mhm.
But I hope to see that become the case, right? Because we are looking for other things, we're making small adjustments, and babies, they recover faster, they're coddled, they're sleeping, they're not under the types of stress that adults are in. So you can really change their environments. That first year of life, that is optimal time to be adjusted.
And how often should babies get
It
adjusted?
depends. So I'll give you. Last week, I saw a baby who I had been seeing his sister
Mhm.
when in her first month of life, um, and excuse me, her first year of life, and then so with him, I saw him and I was like, this is wonderful. This was just amazing. He was doing great. His body felt good. His spine moved well. All things were just great on my end.
Mhm.
And so I said, I will see this baby once a month just to clear out all those milestones, make
Mhm.
sure we're doing those things on a timely basis and feeling good in the process, right? So if they have, you know, maybe baby's going to get a vaccine, or baby had a few days where baby didn't sleep so well, all those things, like parents then have the option to bring them in, get them adjusted if they need that as they're adjusting and acclimating, right?
Mhm.
So that baby will be seen once a month until he's one,
Mm.
right? And so that's that. I have some babies where we're dealing with reflux, torticollis, constipation, gas, um, colic. There are all of those reasons where those adjustments will, or the frequency of those adjustments are a little bit more closer together,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And then we kind of take it from there, depending on what's going on. The nice thing is with chiropractic, because you see the impact of it so quickly,
Mhm.
um, parents get to be part of the discussion, right? So they get to be part of it. They start calling me like, Doctor, it's time for him to come back. It's time for baby to come back. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, great. I can help. Or I'll have parents say, actually, no, he's like really doing really well right now. Like,
Mhm.
let's wait another week. Okay, great. We could do that too. But it's wonderful because my goal is that we empower parents in that time and say, hey, here are some things you can do, talk you through some things, remind you that everything's okay, you
Mhm.
know, teach you how to hold the baby, touch the baby, roll the baby, all those things. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I
It
love what I
sounds
do.
we need more people who love what they do. We need more
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
because then how you approach, people and how you approach the work,
Yeah.
um, I think the outcomes would be so much better when you just love what you do. So
Mhm.
you talked about some of the things that babies may struggle with that you can assist with. I did have a question. How do you see a behavioral change in babies or toddlers after, and what does that look like? Do you have any parents who come in to say, I don't know, they just seem so fussy, or they
Yeah.
just seem so, like, I don't know, aggressive, or
Yeah.
how does chiropractic care help and benefit babies, toddlers, even children,
Yeah.
in that
In that.
area?
Absolutely. So in a lot of ways, if you think about your body's holding tension and you don't really know what to do with it, as adults, we can say, oh, my neck hurts, or my
Mhm.
head hurts, or my back, or something. Babies don't do that. Kids don't do that,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
Very rarely would a child, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old complain of pain,
mhm,
right? Oh, my back, my knee. That's not happening, right? That doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt them, right? But that's not what they process. That's not how they think, right?
Mhm.
They don't even sometimes have the language for it, especially not when you're 2, 3, 4, and you really don't have the language for a lot of things, right? Which is why a lot of times we're teaching sign language.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know how to tell you I'm hungry, right? Or to maybe point to the bottle, but I can do this and say more, right?
Mhm.
And now you understand that I'm hungry.
Mhm.
So in those stages, when they're trying to learn their bodies, I find chiropractic to be extremely valuable because the adjustments, one, with a pediatric chiropractor, you're teaching the baby or you're teaching the child, right? The 2-year old, the 3-year old, the 7-year old. Hey, this is the part of your body. This, okay, compare this to this. What do you think? Is that ouchie there? All those things. So now they're starting to reconnect and go, oh, I didn't know. I didn't, they didn't know. And
Mhm.
so sometimes those first few chiropractic adjustments could be a lot. So you have to really work through some things there. But when you release tension in the body, kids feel better and they behave better.
Mhm.
It's just that simple. The same way where when I'm not feeling well, say I'm cramping or I ate something I didn't like that didn't resonate with me. I don't feel well. And I'm not going to give you the best attitude. It's just not happening. You know?
Right.
Like, why are you so quiet? Because I'm quiet. I don't have a lot that I can say.
That's nice right now.
It's nice. It's not nice. It's not going to come out nicely. You see, as adults, we know how to regulate a little bit better. Kids
Mhm.
are learning to regulate. So for them, it could be, and it may not be, but it could be, I'm tense. I don't feel good.
Mhm.
I don't know how to tell you that, but I'm angry. I'm throwing the things, all of that. So I've seen kids sleep better. I've seen just a lot of behavioral change where parents go like, "He was just really relaxed," or
Mhm.
she's not waking up as early. Those kind of things that have been game changers. And I will say too, sometimes it becomes also beyond the adjustment
Mhm.
because at least in our space, we make it a point to have time. Have time for the parents to discuss and to talk about some of the things. So maybe baby's not, or our kiddo isn't waking up early, frustrated and mad because of how they slept. Maybe it's because her sugar is low. You
Mm.
know,
Mhm.
maybe she needs to eat. Maybe we need to think about what time she's eating. That was a recent one that I was like, okay. But that took sitting down and really talking through, okay, what's the routine? What's happening here? Okay, that kind
Mhm.
of thing. And we miss that sometimes in a pediatric office, in a pediatrician's office, just because there isn't the time,
Mhm.
because there is so much demand.
Mhm.
Right,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's not
Mhm.
because the pediatrician doesn't wanna give you this time. I would say that it's just not the
Set
norm.
up that way.
It's
Yeah.
not set up that way, but we do have some awesome pediatricians, like, shout out to Dr. J, I don't know, you know Dr. J, right? So, that do make that time to say, "Hey, no, we're gonna have a rapport, and we're gonna really build, um, a bond here to
Mhm.
understand what's going on." Because
Mhm.
from my schooling, what we were taught was you learn more in the history than anything else. So if you don't make time to sit and listen, you're going to miss something.
Mhm.
And what
Mhm.
chiropractors don't want to do
It's miss
is
something.
miss something. So, so there is that. But yeah, it's very helpful at all stages of life, but
Yeah.
definitely earlier.
So I think that's a great segue. So a first appointment with
Hmm.
you, what does a first appointment look like, and about how long does a first appointment take? And maybe it's a little bit different if you're working with adult versus a baby, since the baby hasn't been here as long.
Hmm.
However, I would assume that even in that appointment, you will be taking some of the mom's history because it directly impacts baby,
Crazy.
right?
Absolutely. A first appointment is an hour for everyone.
Okay.
So whether adult or child, it's going to take about an hour. We go through the intake form, and you're absolutely right with baby's history. You have to understand. mom's history. And so you hear a lot of different things of what moms have experienced. And then, so some of that goes right into what that birthing experience may have looked like. And those are baby's first moments, right? So it takes it could be quite a bit sometimes. And sometimes in a first appointment, we get everything done. Sometimes we don't.
Mm-hmm.
I've not seen a first appointment take less than an hour. Um, no,
Never.
never. No, not for me. Because I'm trying to get to know you too. And so
Mm-hmm.
you also have to know the person. Is this someone who's super anxious? Is this, who's walking in through the door? And what do they need to know about me so we can create a safe space?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have that in the first appointment and understand, is this the right place for you?
Right.
Right?
Right.
I'm not everybody's chiropractor. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I
Right.
want to be your chiropractor if you want me to be your chiropractor. Therefore, we have to make sense of that. So I allow room and space for that too in the first visit to understand, like, this is how I like to practice. Do you need something faster? Do you need something different? Do you need, so there's a lot of that. I also like to refer, so um, there are wonderful lactation consultants, postpartum doulas, um, pediatric dentists, so many people, right? PTs, that you want to be able to make sure that they have a community of people, because sometimes too, you shouldn't be the only person that is understanding what's going on with this person, right? So
Mm-hmm.
having community is really important. I wish sometimes I could even introduce them to clients. I'm like, we got to do that one day. We got to figure out this HIPAA situation
Yes.
first. But sometimes just having someone to understand.
Yeah.
Sometimes even your community around you doesn't understand. And if you're coming to the chiropractor, whether it's for you or for your child, and people around you don't understand why you're doing it, why you're spending that time, why you're spending that money in that way, that also has an impact on how you value your care and whether or not you're compliant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I ask all those kind of questions too. Like, let's have at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and that is something on each podcast episode that where I'm speaking, and just really reiterating the importance of community
Mhm.
and the importance of having a holistic care team, right? It's not just your pediatrician, it's not just your OB, it's not just your primary care physician. You
Mhm.
need a team because everybody can't do everything, right? And like you said, it's good to have a second or third or
Yeah.
fourth or fifth set of eyes.
Yeah.
And if those practitioners can communicate and talk to one another and come up with a plan that assist with the overall well-being of that mom or that person or that baby, the outcomes are so much better
Yeah.
than us just relying on one person to do all the things. And
Yeah.
like you said, when you are going to receive care in Western medicine, right,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of time. There's not a lot of time to take intakes or really to get a thorough history of what is happening and what's going on. So that is very important. The other point that you made was about the people that are around you, the people that are supporting you, your circle of support. And
Mhm.
so sometimes it does take time for that individual, that person, right? Once they've made a decision, I want to go see a chiropractor in this instance, right? And you have people who are saying, well, why are you doing that? And, why are you going to get your back cracked? And why, that's not safe to do
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
they don't have all of the evidence. They don't have all of the information. They are not well informed in
Right.
that area, right? So it can have a major impact on whether that person decides to continue with care or to go to, to seek out care in the first place. So
Right.
what would be some of what would be your top 5 benefits of chiropractic care, right? Of why a person should at least try it out or
Mhm,
to learn more about it.
mhm,
And let's say for the person who's thinking, okay, this is what I want to do, but I know my mama or I
mhm,
know my daddy or my
mhm,
uncle or auntie or whoever is going to have something to say. But
mhm,
I can tell them these top 5 things
mhm,
and then say, now you go research it and see the
mhm,
benefit of
mhm.
chiropractic care. What are your top 5, Dr. A?
Ooh, um, so I'll try to make them as general as possible. One, nervous system, because everybody's always talking about something nervous system related,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't always understand what nervous system means. So when I'll put all of the things, anxiety, depression, all mood related things, uh, fight or flight response, think those things. So when I say your nervous system support, that's number one, because every day people talk about their feelings and something nervous system related. So that's number one. I want to regulate my nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I would say I want to move better, because when you move better and you can move comfortably, you don't feel as, and it may not be pain, right? So let's not box it into pain. Maybe you're stiff, or maybe this hamstring pulls a little bit, or oh, I was never able to touch my toes, or whatever it is, right? Or if I sit for a long time, it might bother me. All of those things. I just want to move better. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to get winded when I walk up a flight of steps. You want to move better? I think you should see a chiropractor. Number two is sleep. So when you move better and you have a good nervous system, it really does help with your sleep, and sleep is how we heal, right? So that time is really, really important. So a lot of people are not sleeping, and I find that they'll come to see a chiropractor when all of those things are disturbed, and then afterwards, like babies, like if I don't know if you noticed with your baby, not only do most babies poop after an adjustment or like start getting that rolling, but they also sleep better after an adjustment. So sleep, I would say, is number three. um Number four, let's see, I would say, for, I mean, I guess I'll take mommy baby stuff out of it.
Okay.
Actually, now I'm putting it right back.
Okay.
Putting it right back, because that involves everyone. For anyone in those stages of like going through from puberty on,
Mm-hmm.
where your body is changing so rapidly and your body's trying to understand whether you're getting really tall or you're growing a baby, those kind of changes to your body really do require you to stop and go to the chiropractor.
Okay.
So even if you were just to say, okay, like in just these little phases of life or here and there, I would do it. I would think about it at least then, because I'm having a big change to my body. That's a time for me to go get adjusted. Um, Last one, I would say, I guess I would go, last one, I would say pain. So to get out of pain. And that pain could be headaches, it could be um anything. Like I have TMJ, my jaw pops and clicks, anything that you don't feel to be um, quote unquote normal.
Mm-hmm.
You should, if you've already tried the Tylenol, if you've already seen the doctor for whatever reason, I would say try getting an adjustment.
Okay.
Try getting an adjustment.
I'm writing, Dr. A. I'm
Yeah,
writing. I am writing these points down so we
yeah,
can
these are
run them back.
yes, yes, because these were our top five reasons to say this is going to be the benefit. I am
Mm-hmm.
get out
Yeah.
of pain. Yep, yep, I like it.
Yeah.
Out
Yeah.
of the dome.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm gonna run it back. I'm gonna run it back to regulate your nervous system, which
Mhm,
includes anxiety, any type of mood, concerns, depression. Number two, to move better. Number three, improve sleep.
yep,
Assistance with rapid body changes. So that could be pregnancy or puberty. And then number five, to reduce pain. So TMJ, headaches, joint pain, things
yep,
of that nature.
right.
Okay, Dr. A. Dr. A.
Yes, because sometimes, in the moving better, a lot of people don't, pain is the last thing to come.
Mm,
That's what people don't understand. Pain comes at the end, right? Because your body is a healing organism. If you cut it, it should scab. If it's
Okay.
not scabbing, most people go, I'm bleeding out.
Mm.
I need help,
Mm.
right? We have
Mhm.
a problem. But most people will scab, right?
Mhm.
So your body is designed to heal. We as chiropractors are not making it heal. We're helping your body get into a good alignment. Therefore, it does what it does, which is heal, right?
Yes. Yes.
So most people don't go because they're not in enough pain, or
Mm.
they're taking medicines that stop feeling the pain,
Mhm.
right? And so pain comes at the end. And guess what? When you start getting adjusted, pain is also the first thing to go.
Mm.
So pain goes right out the window. You start feeling better immediately sometimes, right? It might
Mhm.
not be 100% better, but you start feeling somewhat better, right? If
Mhm.
you're addressing the cause.
Yeah.
And then it takes some time to get back to restored being, right?
Mhm.
So people also need to understand that, like, just because you're not in pain doesn't mean you don't have something that could be fixed now so that you don't get there.
Yeah.
Your body's not so tired, because once there's stenosis, once there's a lot of arthritis buildup, once those things have taken into effect, there's only but so much that the chiropractor can do,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Okay. Start early. That's what you're saying, Dr. A. Start early.
Mhm.
Start early. I
Yeah.
love it. So, what is the plan for you, Dr. A? It's the beginning of 2025. You've cleared up, I would say, several misconceptions that people have about chiropractic care. You have given us our top 5 benefits of why you should receive chiropractic care. And you have shared your passion and your love for the work that you do. And I think anybody would be really blessed to be in your presence. So I'm going to need to make my appointment. I need to make
You're
my
so
appointment.
you.
But what's next? It's the beginning of 2025. What's the plan, Dr. A? What's on the horizon? What are you doing? How are you going to continue to serve families in your community? Because you are in the Washington, D.C. area. Just for anybody who was thinking about going to see Dr. A,
Yeah.
she is in specifically more so Old Town Alexandria area. What's on the horizon for you?
Horizon, just to keep doing what I love,
Yeah.
keep growing Kelayi. We've done really, really well. And this year we're going to focus on some of the back end of things,
Mm-hmm.
and building and getting to know more people in the community. So some of the things that we've been working on, I think we really get to bring into fruition this year, maybe have some events. So I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
very excited for 2025. It'll be more of a strategic year of really thinking about, okay, how can we see it grow,
Mm-hmm.
and how can we help our families? And so we've surveyed and asked questions of what people want to see and how we can do better. So I'm excited to bring some of that into fruition.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So before we close and before we, just close out this episode, I would like to know, what would Dr. A tell her younger self?
My younger self, um, you know, to just make a plan and work the plan.
Yes, I love it.
Make a plan and work the plan. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's it.
And
Sweet and simple.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
yeah, yeah.
And then how can people get in touch with you, Dr. A?
So our number, 703-518-7936.
Mm-hmm.
You can call or text. Our website is www.kelayi.org. And on Instagram, it's Kelayi_Chiro Wellness. So anyone can hit me up in the DMs, call me, text me.
Yes, slide in your DMs, Dr. A.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Well, I definitely appreciate your time. I appreciate all the work that you are doing. I look forward to supporting you. I look forward to posting this episode. And I hope that the gems that you provided us today actually educate, our audience, educate someone to say, I've never tried it. I didn't think about it before, or I've
Mhm.
never heard about it before, or I have, and Dr. A even just her presence has eased some of the fears or the misconceptions that I had, and be willing to even try it. And
Yes.
so I just greatly appreciate you, and I honor you for being with us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us again today for another episode. We are signing out. See you in the next one.